God invented orgasms, but they'll never teach you that in a synagogue, church, mosque, or temple. The religious don't want to go below their belt to talk about how they were made in God's imagination, not his, her, their literal image. They don't expand their thinking because that would force them to imagine more than they're prepared to believe. They're afraid sex between their male head and female heart will produce a bastard that God will consider abominable. All the institutions of faith have strict guidelines about what their followers are allowed to do in bed. The religious are terrified of moving off the narrow sexual and gender track they're on. Sexual playfulness with ourself and others leads to frank discussions about sex as a vehicle to intimacy, love, and loyalty. The intimacy you discovered with yourself at puberty expanded to sexual intimacy with others. Whether you prefer intimacy with those of your gender or the other, not opposite gender, is a personal preference. The religious refuse to talk about this because they've been trained not to think for themselves or to help themselves. Sexual intimacy with yourself in adolescence produced the experience of orgasm, which gave you the sheer joy of being with yourself. That developed into intimacy with others that included myriad literal and figurative interpretations of closeness. Intimacy with God, however, is entirely a spiritual proximity to him, her, them. It's different from intimacy with people. Religious people can't discuss this either because the final step towards intimacy with God is death, and they can't imagine death without heaven or hell. This is too simplistic an outcome. Without genitals, anus, lips, and nipples, you'll have to imagine intimacy with our Creator as an out-of-body experience. Religious people can't imagine God judging them moment by moment. They can't imagine the challenges they're given each day as wonderful clues to the destiny they could achieve by the end of their journey if they worked from the inside out rather than the outside in. A spiritual experience of intimacy requires thoughts, feelings, beliefs, contemplation, meditation, and questions that don't include desire. This then leads to prayer. Always put yourself first and God last. Learn to communicate with yourself before trying to pray. Good thoughts. I'll tell you more about me tomorrow. Please repost this video for others if you think this message is worthwhile.